Hello, everyone. Good morning to all of you. I hope you're all safe and thank you so much for joining the event. I'm Yuvati Haridas, Marketing Manager of Cloud Comrade, and I welcome you all once again on behalf of Cloud Comrade. It's my pleasure to introduce the speakers for today's session. We have Andy Varoma to showcase about our journey and accomplishments with AWS, followed by Robert Wong, Account Director, Singapore, to share about AWS Managed Services. And finally, we have Jeremy Scott, Client Engagement Director, Singapore, to share more insights on AMS as a platform for innovation. I would now like to hand over to the speakers. Over to you, Andy.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Andy. I'm the co-founder of Cloud Comrade, and we are very pleased to be a sponsor of this event. Today, we want to talk a little bit about Cloud Comrade itself and some of the service offerings that we bring to our customers in the public sector space for our customers to be able to innovate on top of AWS platform. Cloud Comrade is a Singapore-based company, and we set up the organization around 7 years ago here in Singapore. Over the years, we have grown to other regions and other parts of the world. We have customers across Southeast Asia and beyond. For the first 4.5 years, Cloud Comrade was an independent company. We had grown to about 40-50 employees in Singapore, and Temasek, through ST Telemedia, decided to invest into Cloud Comrade. Temasek, through ST Telemedia, has 3 different arms. So there's the communication and media arm, where, for instance, companies like StarHub are part of the portfolio. StarHub is our sister company. There's ST Telemedia, which is the global data center business that they have. And then more lately, they have also expanded into the infrastructure and technology business. On the other hand, there are companies who provide software solutions for cloud deployments. And on the other side, there are main service providers like Cloud Comrade, Second Watch, Bspin Global, and others. So we have the global reach and the global capabilities to deliver projects across the world for all of our customers. As I mentioned, Cloud Comrade was set up in July 2014, roughly about 7 years ago. It was a very small company at the time. Over the years, we have grown with our customers. Our very first deal was actually in the public sector side in Singapore. And since then, half of our business is coming from public sector companies, ministries, statutory boards, educational institutions, non-profit organizations, and so on and so forth. The company has steadily been growing. In 2016, we expanded our team to Indonesia, in Jakarta. In 2017, we started doing regional projects. In 2018, we set up an office also in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. 2019, we set up a center of excellence in India, in Bangalore. And in 2020 and 21, the company has seen 50% growth year on year. So as mentioned in my previous slide, our presence is mainly around Southeast Asia. We have been serving customers outside of the countries where we have offices, also in Thailand, in Vietnam, in the Philippines, in Myanmar. And outside of the Southeast Asia region, we have been working in Hong Kong. We have been working in Maldives, Qatar. And what you can't see in this map, we have also had customers in Spain, Germany, United States, and elsewhere in the world. Cloud Comrade provides typically 2 types of different services. We are helping our customers to migrate onto AWS, and then we are providing 24/7 managed service support for all of our customers who have been onboarded onto AWS. We have also special expertise around security on cloud, and also we have been working with a number of SAP deployments where we have a dedicated SAP basis team where we can go above and beyond the infrastructure support onto SAP basis middleware support or SAP NetWeaver support. We have had about 400 customers, and we have done more than 500 cloud deployments in the past 7 years. Cloud Comrade has more than 130 AWS certifications across the board. Every single person in this company has at least some kind of an AWS certification that includes our salespeople, our finance people, our HR people, and people who are not intimately involved in the delivery of our projects or managing those customers. Every one of our support engineers are certified on the associate level on AWS, and all of our consultants who help our customers to migrate onto AWS are professionally certified by AWS. Besides of that, we also have number of consultants who have had specialization, for instance, in forms of security certifications. Comrade was the first ever Singapore headquartered company to become an AWS Premier Partner. Premier Partnership is the highest level of partnership that AWS has worldwide, and there's only roughly about 150 of those companies worldwide. And today, to our knowledge, I believe there's 2 Southeast Asia companies who have been given the Premier Partner designation status. We have been doing AWS public sector for the longest time. We became the first Singapore headquartered company to get the AWS Managed Service competency, the first company to get the AWS migration competency, and also the first company in Southeast Asia to have the SAP competency. We were also the first partner to receive the Well-Architected Program designation in Southeast Asia. Besides of those partnerships with AWS, we are an SAP partner, and we have also done our ISO 2007 certification. We have been recently awarded the Migration Partner of the Year. We were also awarded the Innovation Partner in ASEAN and Asia Pacific in 2016, and prior to that, we were the Rising Star Partner in ASEAN for AWS. I mentioned that we have more than 400 customers. Roughly about 1/3 of those customers are what AWS designates as public sector customers. So this might be educational institutions, healthcare providers, non-profit organizations, religious organizations, governmental customers, statutory boards, ministries, and so on and so forth. Outside of the public sector experience, we have done and worked in almost all industries, including manufacturing, retail, banking, finance, insurance companies, funds management companies, and so on and so forth. Besides of providing AWS services, we have also had a number of ISV or solution partnerships. We are using, for instance, Acronis for backup management. We are using Device 42 for discovery of workloads in an on-premise environment, Dynatrace for application performance management. We have a number of security partnerships with, for instance, companies like CyberArk, CrowdStrike, Trend Micro, Deep Security, Palo Alto, Checkpoint. We have also partnerships with HashiCorp for infrastructure as a code deployments, and we have been partnering with companies for single sign-on, such as with Okta.
Thank you so much, Andy. Before we hand over to Robert Wong to share about AMS, so here is a quick video on how your organization can benefit from partner-led AWS Managed Services.
Lee's business is growing rapidly, and he really needs recommendations on security and compliance and reducing his operating costs. But he lacks a robust operations environment. So, he's partnered with Comrade for AMS so he can focus on his business priorities. Comrade is an AWS Premier Partner that focuses on infrastructure migrations and managed services across ASEAN and across industries. They're the first AWS Managed Services partner in Singapore with AWS migration and SAP competency. With Comrade managing AMS on his behalf, Lee's getting enterprise-grade compliance and security. AMS comes equipped with out-of-the-box security and compliance features that enable him to easily meet compliance program requirements such as HIPAA, HITRUST, SOC, and ISO. Now his business saves time and cost with AWS Managed Services tracking and analyzing protocols, allowing him to focus on his business targets. To learn more about how Comrade can help your business, contact us today.
Hi, today I'll be covering AWS Managed Services, or in short, AMS. AWS Managed Services, or AMS, is a service offering that provides ongoing management of your AWS infrastructure so that you can focus on your application and your innovation. By implementing best practices to maintain your infrastructure, AWS Managed Services, or AMS, help you to reduce your operational overhead and risk. Comrade had onboarded many AMS customers, and what the customer likes about the AMS that they told us is that it takes away the mundane task of administration away from them so that they can focus in the business application. Also, AMS is based on a markup of the services consumed by customer, and hence it is predictable and transparent charges. AMS also offer out-of-box compliance with many regulatory standards such as HIPAA, SOC, HITRUST, ISO, etc. The AMS model is also a flexible one with no upfront commitment. Customer is able to move some workload as they deem necessary to AMS and maintaining the rest themselves, and to move again when they feel it is the time to move so to be managed by AMS. There is also predefined SLA with clearly stated credits refund to customer should the SLA are not being met. Other benefits that you get with the AMS is access to a cloud architect as well as the cloud service delivery manager, CDSM. The CDSM will also perform a monthly business review with you in terms of like an area of financial spend, a cost saving recommendation, optimization, as well as a risk reporting. The cloud architect will also help you in your areas, in your solutioning architecture, and basically he can be the one-stop technical advice for you to getting most out of AMS and AWS. This is a view on how customer runs their environment in AWS. The application is really your innovation, and this is your differentiator, as you can see here. But after this layer at the top, the below is really not the core competency of many customers. There are infra systems, also application that may be supported by different partners. There are gaps, and from the responsibility, the customer will find challenges on who to activate, to escalate to, whether it's a product principal or the partner. What really customer want is a single point of help for problem escalation as far as possible. Comrade can provide this. If a customer, for example, takes up the application performance monitoring, so that all the issue from the application layer up to the infrastructure layer can be pinpointed with accuracy and without ambiguity. And Comrade also can provide this to our customer. This is the multi-account landing zone, and it's a prerequisite in AMS, and one of the key features of AMS as well. It has a multi-account structure, providing the best practices in security, governance, and how the AMS account should be set up. As the name suggests, this multiple account project can be managed in a consistent manner, adhering to the security and compliance, and user need not to have taken care of this as they set up new account or application. The multi-account landing zone setup and security is a gold standard currently on the cloud platform. Next, you're probably familiar with this shared responsibility model. Typically, the cloud service provider take care of the infrastructure layer. But for the AMS, the shared responsibility is extended up to the platform at the IAM level, leaving you, the customer, to manage only your core competency, which is your application and your data. This is a partner-led AMS operating model. To be eligible for enterprise support, you will need a minimum spend, and most customers will not meet this minimum spend before they get the enterprise support. But with AMS, this restriction is removed, and you can enjoy the enterprise support that comes with the AMS. Also, in a partner-led model, should there be services or configuration that are not supported, Comrade can supplement with our own Comrade Managed Services to provide our customer a one-stop shop to meet their managed services need. From the process point, if you have existing service desk, the service desk can be easily integrated to the Comrade service desk for ticketing, incident logging, etc. If you do not have a service desk, you can also use our service desk to create the tickets for the matter related to support. In turn, our Comrade service desk system are integrated to the AMS and will be managed according to the agreed SLA. AMS actually comes with a very strict SLA or service level agreement, and failing to meet the SLA by the AMS team means a service credit to be paid back to the customer. As you can see in the table here, there are categories of service commitment for each of the category, whether it's based on your AMS Plus program or a premium program that you sign on to. Next is the table of RACI. I won't go into the detail of the RACI, but basically it shows a very comprehensive RACI detailing who is responsible for what in AMS. It has the role stated for you as a customer, for us as your partner, Cloud Comrade, and for AMS team, and what do they be responsible for. You can go through the next two slides and typically this will be included in the proposal to you as a customer for review. Another feature of AMS is that the customer is the standard pricing on the AWS services. AWS has grouped their services into group A, B, and C, and for AMS charges, it is an uplift of a certain percentage based on the actual usage of these services. For example, if you use a lot of S3, and S3 basically, because it falls on group A, there are no charges for AMS. But if you are using, for example, Aurora, then you are paying an uplift between a 25 to a 42%, depending on whether you are on the Plus or the Premium plan. Right, this slide gives a summary of the comparison between the Plus and Premium offering, and essentially the difference is in the response time and the resolution time. Where AMS do not support the services, Cloud Comrade can offer our own services to complement the support as our own managed services, and these typically are tailored from customer to meet their managed services requirement. Depending on the requirement of the customer, Cloud Comrade Managed Services or CCMS complete is based on a custom pricing, and typically we will discuss with the customer and tailor the offering to meet the customer needs.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Scott Yeo from Cloud Comrade. I'm here to talk to you a bit more about AMS and its innovation. As part of innovating, the AMS provide out-of-the-box solution in the multi-account lending zone, so that customers like you do not need to build from scratch. Here are some of it. Built with 100 plus security compliance. Built to save costs with a shared service. Provide patch management, automation, and flexibility to also control what patches goes into your servers. Enables you to develop solution and application using your preferred develop approach. Automated service requests and automated incident reaction. AMS implements best practice and maintains your infrastructure to reduce your operation overheads and risks. AMS provides full lifecycle services to provision, run, and support your infrastructure, and automate common activities such as change requests, monitoring, patch management, security, and backup service. AMS enforces your corporate and security infrastructure policy and enables you to develop solutions and applications using your preferred development approach. Here's a bit more. Security. It meets enterprise-level security and compliance requirements like PCI, HIPAA, SOC, ISO, and many more. Powered by AWS and in collaboration with Cloud Comrade, we help to accelerate cloud onboarding, overcome skill gap, and augment operational readiness. It's scalable and resilient, ready to support multiple highly available and scalable workloads. Cost optimized. It eliminates cost of redundant infrastructure by centralizing services shared across your environment. It's highly automated, which also allows you to quickly set up new accounts ready to host your application. In this slide here, we can see that AMS uses several mechanisms to enable your self-service, and that is to automate repetitive tasks and to implement new AWS service and features as they are released. You can also submit an AMS service request at any time, suggesting for new features or features of improvement. AMS follows a set of practice for IT service management, which is ITSM, that focus on aligning IT services with the needs of your business. Here in this slide, to further increase innovation, Cloud Comrade and AWS has collaborated to provide customer a one-stop support shop. As you can see in the below boxes under AMS, those are the services that is supported today by AMS, and this is growing. The list is growing day by day. And if you look at the top orange boxes, those are the items that Cloud Comrade can support you in your cloud environment that are non-AMS supported. For example, SAP Managed Services, application monitoring, vulnerability management, next-gen firewall, database backup, and website monitoring and defacement, just a few examples of it. As such, this innovation is able to provide you, customer, an end-to-end support, not only on AMS, but any other third-party tools or application that is currently not supported by AMS, and Cloud Comrade can support that. In an AMS journey, there are two key phases. Onboarding phase, which is the AMS landing zone environment definition, build, and integrate activity to prepare for your application workload migration. And we have the migration phase. It will be on wave planning, deployment, and migration of your application workload that was discovered during the discovery workload session, all right, and bring you on board into AMS. Let me give you a bit more details of what will be done in each of those stages. For example, in the foundation stage, all right, that is where we together will do a planning and discovery of your current workloads that you want to onboard into AMS. Other to that, in concurrent, we will actually establish the landing zone together with you, what is your requirement, together with the AMS operation team too. We will also look at integrating security and operations in the future states on board in AMS. In the migration phase, we will establish the migration or deployment strategy with AWS best practices. We will actually provide you with what your architecture will look like in AMS. How will be the migration strategy be? How long will it be? And in the operation phase, we will talk about your current processes. For example, your incident change, backup, cost, or even security and compliance and patch management. And we look at AMS operations. We will actually fuse in your current operations with AMS operations to provide you an integrated operational handbook, whereby that will be your basis of how to use and optimize and escalate tickets for AMS. Other to that, how do we know that what has been proposed during the operational and integration phase is workable for you and AMS? We will actually perform game days. These game days will have several scenarios, and the scenarios are based on the process that was created for you in the integration operational processes handbook. We'll run through several scenarios to ensure that what we have created in the process works not only for you, but for AMS too. This game day is not only once before you onboard into AMS. This game day can be taken into an account whereby it's like a CSI, continuous service improvement, whereby not only during game day we perform this once, but once you're onboarded into AMS, we will continuously test out the process to ensure that it works for both the customer and AMS operations. Now, in this slide here, I want to talk a bit more about, other than how do we get there, I want to talk a bit more about collaboration, right? So as you can see, Cloud Comrade and AWS, we have a set of people, a team, that actually walks through, hold the customer's hand during this journey. We have the engagement lead from Cloud Comrade that overall looks at the entire program and engages the customers and also the AMS operation team in meetings, in looking at, are we, reaching the timeline? Are there potential roadblocks coming in? How do we negate our way across these roadblocks? And we split up our team into several work streams. For example, you have a cloud architect that will sit down with you and walk you through the workload discovery that I mentioned earlier on. We will have an operation integration lead that sit down with you and talk to you about integrating your current process with AMS and running through several game day scenarios with you to ensure that the process being proposed is workable. We will have our AMS counterpart, the CSDM, that looks at your account, ensure that what has been proposed to onboard you into AMS is correct, workable, and within timeline. We have the AMS operation backend team that works together with us and you to help you build your multi-account landing zone, and also to advise you on how to raise service requests in AMS. Here, let me go a bit more on what we do for onboarding and its activities. For example, project typically is running on a 12 weeks program. There are about 6 checklists to go through, and at the end of the program, there are a few documents that we need to produce and share with our customers. For example, operation integration, technical infra design, and the migration and security documents. During foundation, as I mentioned previously, we will plan and discover what is your current workload, how are they being mapped, and we'll propose to you how we look like in the AMS environment in future and how we're going to migrate your workload into AMS. Other to that, we'll have a security workshop with you to talk about AWS security best practice and also to talk about your current environment. If you move it to AMS, what are the proposed security practice that you can implement this to enhance your security practice in AMS? We talk about operations. We drill down about how do you go about running your incident process today, your patch management, tagging, for example, or even your RTO and RPO. What is your RTO and RPO today, and what would you like to see in AMS? We will test out the operations by running game days to ensure that the process works. And the outcome will be you have onboarded your application into a secure environment, into AMS. Allow me to provide you an overview of the connection phase and its sub-phases: assess, propose, implement. The first phase of an AMS project focuses on defining, building, and integrating the AMS landing zone to enable the integration of application workloads. When the environment has been built, tested, and operational processes have been tested, the environment will be ready to accept migration workloads. The 3 sub-phases of the onboarding phases are: assess. In this sub-phase, the delivery team will work with the customer to review the current state environment to define, build, connect, and integrate a new AMS landing zone. A series of pre-engagement interviews will be conducted, as well as a customer kickoff. Following the customer kickoff, a series of workstream-specific working sessions will be held during the first few sprints to review and assess current state architecture, review customers' business objective, align strategic goals for cloud operations, and define future state operating models in AMS. In the proposed phase, the onboarding team will compile the information obtained during the assess sub-phase and create the architectural designs and artifacts to support migration to AMS. The operational release chart will be drafted, as well as the security framework, tagging strategy, backup strategy, and migration patterns will be created. In the implementation sub-phase, the architectural design and controls will be implemented through the build-up of the accounts to support application in AMS. Trust and federation will be established, and network connectivity will be established to support migration and future state operations. Security alignment will be completed, and the new operating model will be tested and approved, which is the game day. The environment will then be deemed operational ready to accept production application and database workloads. Here in this diagram, let me elaborate more. How do we deliver this actually? We deliver this through an agile framework, all right, to guide the customers through planning and delivery in order to achieve the defined project outcome that is required. We shall define a 1-week sprint cycle, perhaps Wednesday to Tuesday, daily stand-ups meeting to talk about the workstream sessions. We will prioritize and look at backlogs for each of the sprint so that we are able to catch up with time and also to see what will be a potential roadblocker and to remove those blockers away through these sessions. We'll build continuous momentum with the team, with stand-ups, sprints, review, and sprint planning together. Other than planning the various work streams, the sprints, we also will develop communication plans. How do we collaborate with our customers? How do we actually communicate with our customers on a day-to-day basis? Here's an example, right? If you look at the daily frequency of the very first item here, daily team collaboration. So when we talk about team collaboration, it's about Cloud Comrade and the customers like you, all right? We will actually collaborate on tools and repository that will be used for both the team members in information sharing, documentation sharing, storing the documents. We will have our daily stand-up meetings. Daily stand-up meeting consists of what we need to do for today, what we need to accomplish for the week from Cloud Comrade, from the customers. And we do a sprint review on all the sprint sessions that we have. What are the backlogs that we have, or are we ahead of time? And in the internal sprint session is a planning between Cloud Comrade and AWS after we've gathered all the previous sprint session and we plan for the next sprint session. And here we have an example of a sprint schedule. The sprint schedule is not made to tie you down. It's actually a very flexible planning schedule that we will actually include meetings and sessions like a daily stand-up meeting to talk about the progress of where we are with your AMS onboarding. We also talk about potential obstacle if there is and how are we going to overcome that. And we have several sessions lines up. For example, your workload discovery session, operational integration session, security workshop session, last but not least, a game day. And the next slide here actually shows you an indicative engagement timeline. At the end of the onboarding program, what the customer will get is a robust, scalable platform on AMS that has out-of-the-box security compliance. More than 90% of the service are fully automated. On top of that, to provide you an end-to-end support, partners like Cloud Comrade does support application support, database support, next-gen firewall. And here is the indicative engagement timeline. At the end of the day, after you have onboarded into AMS, what you'll be getting is a highly robust, scalable, and secure platform that you onboard your application. Not only that, with this innovation, Cloud Comrade as a partner extends the support for you, not only on AWS services, but your third-party toolings that you have that are not supported by AWS, this can be taken up by Cloud Comrade. As such, the support structure is providing you an end-to-end support, a one-stop shop.
Thank you so much, speakers, and I hope this session was really informative. Do drop in a virtual booth for more information, and our experts are available throughout the event. Thanks once again, stay safe and take care.